Today I've got all this equipment because I'm going to show you how to take photos of yourself when you're skating. There's a bit of a technique to it and there's a few different ways, and first of all I'm going to show you the more difficult way, and you need a bit more equipment, and then after that I'll show you just a couple of quick tips and different ways to show you how to do it just for social media. And if you want, this stuff's really heavy by the way. Yeah, I'll show you how to do it for social media, take some nice photos, and yeah, let's go clickety click and take some photos. Right, so the equipment that you're going to want, most importantly, you want to have a tripod. A big solid tripod is the best because one, it can go up higher and you can get lots of different shots and it won't move. It's number one. Number two, a camera. It can be any camera really, but to be able to take photos by yourself, you'll want something that you can plug a remote into. This one here has got a remote jack here which plugs in. This is a Nikon D610 full frame camera, and I've got a lens which is a 28-300, so that means I can zoom in nice and close, get lots of different shots. When you're shooting by yourself, probably a good idea to have something that has a variable zoom on it. So you can get around by having a like a 50mm, which I also have in here, but I don't generally use that for shooting for myself just because it limits where you can place the camera and get shots that you want. So use one that's got a zoom lens on it. Next is here we've got a this is a Yongnuo relay. It's a that goes on the top of your camera here into the flash, the hot shoe. Pop that in, and then as I said before, that's the plug which goes in here. So then that is going to tell the other one here, which as you can see it's got a button on it, that is a shutter, so I can press this and this will take a photo. So I skate with this in my hand, and then when I do my trick, push the photo and get a good shot. But that's not all. There's a few things that you got to do when you frame it up and make sure that you get focus. So let's go set up the shot and get some snaps. Also, another thing that I've got here is a flash. This is also the same brand, Yongnuo, and that and if I'm not saying that right, sorry, but that goes here. It's got a little foot there so I can sit it up, and I don't need a tripod or anything for that. Don't know if we need the flash today. It's quite nice and sunny, and there's some clouds diffusing the light, but I might take a couple with it just to show you, because you know it looks pretty cool when you put a bit of a flash on skate videos. It's when you've got the shutter speed happening so quick, sometimes it can need that little bit of extra light shining on your face. So, and you can get a different look from it as well. So you can make the background a bit darker and have the subject light up. Okay, time to set up the first shot. I'm going to do an air over there. So what I want to do is, my face is going to be facing this way, so I've got to put the camera this side. So what I'll do is have a look here. See how this section here is out of the way? You don't want to put your camera in the middle of the skate park where people are going to be skating near it and knock it over, because one, you get in the way, two, your shit's going to get damaged. So you don't want your shit damaged. So let's set up the camera here, and we'll zoom in a little bit, we'll pull focus and get get some shots. All right, now the tripod's set up. Got the remote on top, and I've got my clicker here pointing at the thing. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to pull focus. So you might have automatic focus, but a good way to get your focus set is, I found like a Coke can here. What I'm going to do is I am going to put it up over here. Use whatever you can. If you've got a person to stand there, that's great, but this is doing it by yourself. So when I air, I'm going to be around in the air around here. So if I get the focus on that Coke can, that means that I'm going to be in focus when we get the shot. So let's go back over to the camera, and I'll use the eye piece to get the focus. See in there. And just fell over. So once you get focused, then lock my focus off to manual, and I'll lock that off to manual. So that means that the focus won't accidentally change when I'm jumping. So then I'm going to adjust the view, zoom out because you've got the zoom. Alright, and then we'll adjust the settings. We'll get it to we'll go take a test photo. We'll get the aperture and everything right. That's a different story. You can find lots of videos how to get the aperture, and your ISO, I'm going to shoot at 100 ISO because it's a nice sunny day. We want nice crisp clean pictures. I'm going to do it raw, and we'll try and do a fairly fast shutter speed because I'm going to be jumping, and let's see. So let's see how they turned out. I think they're a little bit dark. So what I'm going to do is, this one's a good excuse to use the flash. Now it's quite bright, so the flash is just going to fill my face because we've got the sun's coming up from that way, so we need something to counteract the sun. So I'm going to put the flash down there, and we're going to get a shot with that. I've got it at full power, so let's see how that works. Okay, I think I still need to make the frame, I can either bump up the ISO or make the frame rate a bit faster. I'm going to make the frame rate a bit slower. It's at 800 of a second. Let's go 400th of a second. Yeah, I went up to 400th of a second. So let's take a few more shots, see how that looks. Yep, they're looking much better. So let's try something else now. Maybe we can do some grinds. Let's get a nice grind photo, and we'll do a bit of a zoom to get something a little bit different. The camera from here, get a nice shot over there. Yeah, you can see from this shot, got the sun behind me, so it's perfect, and we can zoom in, get a nice shot with a bit of a bokeh in the background, so blurred out background. All right, and we'll do the same thing with the Coke can here, where I want to get the photo, and let's do some grinds. zoom in a little bit. All right, let's pull focus. The Coke can's fallen over. That's all right, we'll still get a pull focus from that. Nice. All right, you can see the nice blurred background there. What we'll do is zoom out a little bit so we get the shot. All right, let's see how this works. Right, the continuous is working good, so I'm going to do one here, and we'll get some more shots. Here we go. I was wondering what those handlebars were doing here, and then I just looked up here, and look, here's the rest of the bike. On the roof. Someone's either done a gnarly stunt or someone's thrown it up there. I go with the ladder. Now for the final tip that I promised you. This one is just an easy one. You can use either GoPro or any camera, but you can also use your phone. So before we do, let's look in the settings. All right, so let's go in the settings and we'll go to camera and we will go to record video. Let's just crank it up to the highest setting it's got. Actually, no, that's only going to work on High Sierra, so that's all right. Let's just go 4K at 30 frames per second. That sounds good. So we're going to get the biggest frame size that we can. It's good to have 60 frames per second if you can do that, because it might have less motion blur, but let's see what we can do with 30 frames per second. All right. So for this shot, I'm going to do this ledge. It's a pretty little ledge, isn't it? So we'll get the, I've got a tripod here for the phone. Problem with this tripod is that it can fall over. So, and it's a bit windy today, and you can damage your phone, but that's should be fine like that. Let's go do a few grinds, and what we'll do is we'll just extract one frame from wherever you want. It's pretty basic, but yeah, lots of software can do it, so let's do that. When you want to grab a frame from your footage, 4K, up to 4K, use the app called Frame Grabber. Now this is on Apple's iOS. It's probably on Google as well, but there may be a different name, but there'll definitely be plenty of apps and they'll all work fairly similar. So open up the app, Frame Grabber, and you select the video that you want to use, and you've got a few options here. So the good thing you can do is you can set the speed that you want to scrub. So what they mean by scrub is by scrolling through the video. So I'm going to set this to fine, which means it's going to be slow, and you know, sometimes when you scroll through your video, you scrub through your video, you move your finger a little bit and you are gone out of the shot. And you're like, oh, I just want to go slow because it's really hard because the thing's so small. This gives you the ability to change that. So you go snail, and when you scrub through, you move it a couple of centimeters, but you're only moving a tiny bit. So that's very, very handy. So you find the frame that you like. That looks good. Right, and then you hit this export button. Now you've got an option here as well. If you click those three little dots at the top, they've got export metadata. You can turn that off if you want. Set it as JPEG quality. You can crank that up right to 100%. Export to, you can just put it to your photos. That's where you want it anyway. Right, and then we'll close that. I'll turn the metadata off because we don't need to be sharing all that information. I'll show you what information that it actually shares. In metadata, it tells you where everything was, what time, all this information about your phone and your software, so they don't need to know that. So let's turn that off. If you want it, then that's good, but I'm turning it off. Right, and then I'm going to hit that download button down the bottom, and that saved it to my photos. Easy as that. And it saves it up to 4K. So, you know, you get the full size image. Another way you can do it is do a screenshot of you get on the right frame of the video, hit a screenshot, but that's not going to give you the full resolution. That's only the resolution of your screen, not your camera. So that's how you take photos of yourself. You can do it in the street, you can do it anywhere. Just yeah, it takes a while and setup takes a little bit longer, but you learn a lot and you can take it slow because you're not worried about the subject having to wait for you to set up the shot. So one, it's a good way to learn how to take photos, and two, it's a good way to pass time so you don't get bored when you go for a skate, and you can just because you're doing two things at once. You're learning photography and also having a good skate. So enjoy. I hope you've enjoyed this, and I'm going to do another video on how to make videos of yourself, but this one is just about photography. So take some snaps and have fun skating. Thank you.
I